Hey, Hit Radio, the Fox, Pat and Tori with you for another rockin' day. That's a crazy little thing called Love, one of our favorite bands, of course, Queen. And speaking of Queen, man, Poughkeepsie's about to rock next week. Killer Queen, a tribute to Queen. Gonna rock the convention center like no other, and we are honored to have frontman, incredible musician, Mr. Patrick Myers, on our rock and roll phone. Hello, Patrick.
Hey, hello. How is everybody?
I'm doing great. Tori?
Pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, really good. We're coming to the end of the first leg of our tour, and it's been a blast. It's gone down so well. Everyone's really enjoyed it, and we've had a great time.
Patrick and the band coming to the Nashua Convention Center next Tuesday night, 7:30. Get your tickets today, 845-454-5800, or go to Ticketmaster. Let's sell out this place like no other. As you said, Patrick, you're currently on tour, which is great. So many questions to ask you. It's, I got to see Queen in 1982, one of their last shows. Yeah. It was the third last show that they ever performed in the United States on their Hot Space tour. And oh my goodness, I just have the memory locked in my brain cell. But what I always start out, Patrick, is asking you, how did you find your love for music? Was it mom, dad? What got you into the whole music scene? And then we can lead into the whole love for Queen and of course, this great band.
Well, it wasn't my mum and dad. No, it was my grandma. I'm half American, and I went to stay with my grandma in 1980. And I don't know why she said to my mum, "Oh, your boy's really musical. He should learn an instrument." And I don't know why she said that to this day. I never got a chance to ask her. But she sent me a guitar for my next Christmas present or birthday present. I can't remember which one. And I was completely surprised. I thought, "Oh, wow, what am I supposed to do with that?" but she, because I hadn't thought about it. I thought music was something for other people, and I wouldn't, it was, other people in my, I was about 9, I suppose, or 8 or 9. And I just figured it wasn't, something that other people did and wasn't me. But I was completely wrong, because as soon as I started doing it, I absolutely adored it. I just thought it was fantastic. So I sort of leapt into it and studied classical guitar and rock guitar and all sorts of guitar. And then sort of taught myself piano at the same time. I had a couple of lessons of piano, but mostly taught myself. And then started writing songs. And then as soon as you're writing songs, you've got to form a band, because you've got to have someone to play these songs. And I started sneaking into bars when I was about 15 or 16. With my
like that, sneaking into bars. That's cool.
I'd sort of pretend I was a lot older than I was. I dyed my hair and pretended I was like much more sophisticated and older than I was, and bought all the sort of crazy T-shirts and stuff, and just made out I was about 3 or 4 years older than I was, and just sort of played my songs with a band, and we were called the Nasty Termites because we wanted to sound like the Beatles, but so we called ourselves the Termites. But we thought that doesn't sound rock and roll enough, so let's call ourselves the Nasty Termites, just to let everyone know we mean business.
Like a little punk, a little new wave. It
was kind of like that. We were kind of a bit Beatley. We did harmonies as well. We the first band I was actually ever in was at school, and we played Queen songs because everyone was just crazy about Queen, and so we played. What was it? We played "We Will Rock You" because that's quite easy, and we played "Another One Bites the Dust" because that's pretty easy too, and "I Want to Break Free." So we chose the easier Queen songs to play. We sort of shied away from the difficult ones, and then this Queen, and then Killer Queen happened when I was at university, and again that wasn't planned. It was just I just left home, and Queen had just released an album earlier that year called Innuendo, which is just amazing. And it was like so strong. It was the best songs I'd heard from them. And they'd been doing so many good songs all the way through their career, but these were just stellar, these songs. Stuff like Innuendo and Days of Our Lives and Show Must Go On. It was like, wow, knockout. They were knocking it out of the park completely. And so we were all excited about that. And we all just missed out on seeing Queen as kids because, like you say, they stopped touring for you guys in America in 82. They stopped touring in Europe in 86. That was your last chance to see them. And we didn't know that would be it. We just thought they were just having a break, because they had other projects and solo projects and things like that. So then we got the news that Freddie had died, and we were just all horrified.
You and everybody are throughout the world.
Yeah, it was just so sad, and it was so what he'd gone through and how he'd had to try and hide himself away, and But then you sort of look back at the music he'd recorded just before he died, and it all made sense. Songs like "A Show Must Go On" and things like that. and all the Innuendo albums suddenly sort of had an entirely different context. So we started singing songs to each other in the same way that we sang songs to each other, when I'd done my very first shows, in the school assembly halls. And that sort of grew. Tributes weren't really happening, but they were just about to happen. And we thought, well, maybe we could do one show ourselves. So everyone in that halls of residence, we sort of clubbed together. We sort of worked out costumes, and no one had done a Queen tribute before. So we were sort of like making it up as we went along, really. But Queen had released this video called The Miracle, which was sort of like little kids dressing up as them. And we were sort of like not far off that. So we thought, okay, well, we're the little kids who've grown up a little bit, and we'll dress up as Queen. We'll just copy their video. so we just thought, well, if it's good enough for a Queen video, we must be onto the right track. So let's do it and let's see what happens. And it was just the most extraordinary event, that first concert. We were so terrified that it wouldn't be received the right way. But it went great, and it remains one of the most singular best nights of my life. It was extraordinary, and it totally changed my life. From that one show, suddenly we've now been doing this for 30 years, and we've ended up playing the same arenas that Queen have played, and travelled all over the world and had the most extraordinary time. So Queen have completely changed my life, really. They changed my life when I first heard their music, but they changed it again when I suddenly realized that, I could potentially play their music and travel the world doing it. So yeah, it's been amazing.
Talk about a pinch myself moment, right? You get on stage,
absolutely.
And 30 years later,
you blink
still
and you spent
crazy.
I'm still doing it.
I know, that's great. We can't wait to see you in Poughkeepsie. We want to see more. Tori, what do you got to ask Patrick here?
Well, I mean, tiny bit first. I have never gotten a chance to see Queen. I am definitely on the young side of this. But Queen is my, like, if I could go back and see any group, any performance, I think it would honestly have to be his Wembley performance.
Yeah.
My mom definitely got me in, but I'm a little bit like listening to you, and it's a little like I'm hearing just like it's crazy. And it all makes so much sense, and it's so amazing. And like it's such an amazing amazing life. Like you found something that like really, really stuck with you. And you friggin' 30 years later, and you're still
I know. It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. And I never would have predicted it. Because, I mean, for me, I know what you mean about Queen at Wembley. There's something magical about Queen and the words Wembley together, They were such great. I watched those concerts because they broadcast them quite soon after they were over. They'd been done. And you saw the sort of the early shoot, the early cut of that. And it was just magic. They really had their own brand of magic. My parents didn't really approve of me liking Queen. They didn't like Queen very much for some reason. My mum and dad, they were into the Beatles, and they said, I thought, well, all right, I want to find my own band. So I'm going to find, and I discovered Queen through some friends of mine. They said, put this on, and I put the greatest hits on, and it blew my mind. And I thought, wow, I thought something like the Beatles couldn't happen twice. I thought, where the songwriting is so strong and they've got everything right and the alchemy of the band is so perfect. And it did. It happened with Queen, and Queen now, and it's just brilliant for me because I can watch. Queen are so popular the whole world over now, and so accepted and so celebrated. It's wonderful. And so we're very, very happy to be, albeit unofficial ambassadors for their music. We're not an official Queen tribute or anything like that. We're just fans who kind of, climbed up the mountain first. Fantastic. We happily raise our flag to Queen all over the world, and we just love doing it.
You mentioned Wembley Stadium. I mean, I think everybody gets goosebumps to watch that whole Radio Gaga. Yeah. It's like, oh my God. I mean, that Live Aid. I remember it was just like, it's over the top. There was nothing. I mean, Tori and I were just talking before. I mean, if Freddie Mercury is not the greatest entertainer of the world with his performance, with the songwriting, with the production of this great band. It's incredible. I mean, you think of a rock band, but they go from, Love of My Life to Show Must Go On. And then you throw in, Dragon Attack and, We Will Rock You and Play the Game. It just, the catalog of music and the songwriting is just the best of the best.
They are amazing, and they all wrote the songs as well. Freddie was just a fantastic frontman, as well as an amazing musician and writer. So yeah, they continued. What amazes me about Queen is, the Beatles are fantastic, but they were so. If you look at when they started writing songs, properly around sort of 62, 63, and they'd finished really writing everything they were going to write for the Beatles by about 69. So that was just such a short window that they managed to cram so much into. But Queen did the opposite thing. They sort of like they carried on. They sort of carried on writing great songs when they didn't split up. That's what I loved about them. They just thought they'd have their arguments, they'd have their sort of fights, but they think, hang on, no, Queen is just too good to let go of. Let's carry on doing this. And they kept on releasing, like you're saying, stuff right the way through their career. You got just absolute gems, complete diamonds of songs, which the audience love. And yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted to be in the crowd watching Radio Gaga and put my hands up in the air. And you can now. That's the other great thing about Queen is that they found Adam Lambert. So now you can go and see Queen again, and you can be in the crowd. And I think they're going to tour again one more time, maybe a couple of more times. I don't know, but certainly there's rumors of another Queen tour coming out. So I'll come along and see them with Adam Lambert again, because I've seen them twice with Adam, and they're absolutely stunning. They are groundbreaking shows every time they sort of like decide to do that and press that big button that says tour. They produced extraordinary stuff. So it's great. They're still doing it. They're still wreaking that magic.
Tori, jump in.
So yeah, we absolutely love doing it, and it's a pleasure. And we try and get the look and the sound of Queen. So it's the songs, but it's also the look, and it's like you were saying, it's the atmosphere of the concert. That Queen had a certain real electricity in the air when you go and see them live.
So with that, what do you have to do? And obviously, and you and the rest of the group, how what do you guys have to do typically to prepare yourselves to be Queen?
Well, you have to do a lot of vocal warm-ups, and you have to sort of do a lot of physical exercise, a few physical exercises here and there, a smattering of physical exercise, sort of just to sort of get your body in shape and stretch, and do a few press-ups and things, and just stretch yourself out a little bit, vocally as well as physically, and then you get into costume, and there's something. When you were a kid and you did dressing up as a thing, say, oh, today I'm going to be a pirate, or today I'm going to be an astronaut, or today I'm going to be, that sort of dressing up make believe. It's still a bit like that for me. I find costumes and things just fun.
So you get
they're just a laugh. It's a sense of playing. Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. What were you asking?
You get to be a kid forever, and that's amazing.
Yeah, well, that's it, really. Yeah, I do. That's what's so bizarre about this, because it's those little kids that were in the Queen video, the Miracle video. That's sort of my career. That is. That's sort of bigger, dressing up as Queen in the shadow of Queen, and it's sort of like, and it is good fun, and I find that sort of stuff just endlessly entertaining, which is quite handy, really, considering that's what I've ended up doing. But it's good fun, and the band all sort of enjoy it. There's a sense of camaraderie on stage, and it's nice. But the other thing that I really like about it, aside from the sort of the personal sort of fun I have in sort of dressing up and having costumes and all that sort of stuff, I like. It sounds very simple and sort of twee, I suppose, but it's enormous privilege to be able to make people happy. Put simply, to make people put a real smile on their face and let them feel like they can pretend like we're playing. It's let's pretend, basically. It's make believe that that we're pretending to be Queen, and we want the audience to join in that that game and play with us. and they do, and they go crazy, and they have fun, and they and we get emails saying it's been the best night of their lives, and they come again and again and again, and things like that. So to be able to make people that happy is brilliant, and to do it doing something that makes you happy too, and that you enjoy, and you know how it feels to be a part of that audience, and you know how much they want to have a good fun, and you just forget all their worries, forget all their cares, just throw their hands in the air and do all we hear is Radio Gaga, Radio Goo Goo, and we will rock you, and let's go crazy to a crazy little thing called love. All of those things. It's such a tidal wave of emotion that you get, and it's such a positive energy that it's great for the audience, and it's great for us too.
So how do you feel being like pretty much the front man for like the biggest tribute band like in the world, like not just like even one little area, but like you guys are world.
Yeah, we've done quite a lot all over the world. I never really think about it like that, really. For me, it's, and this will sound sort of crazy too, it still feels a bit like a daydream. It feels like like I'm a student again, still really dreaming, and it's just that the dreams become real, and I keep thinking, well, I wonder what I can dream next. I wonder what could happen next. And it's strangely enough, every time you dream something, they seem to come true. So I dreamt I wonder if we could sort of put on a Queen concert, and then I thought, well, I wonder if we can do a Queen concert in the same place that Queen did their concert, and then I wonder if we could find a way of getting different sort of banks of lights to do this and this and this, and it's just all it's lots of wishes, really, and I wonder if. So I never look down in terms of like, oh, look, we're here now. I'd sort of think, oh, crikey, we've come a long way. It always feels like, it's not like every show's your first show. I wouldn't say that, but it does feel like, even though I've been doing it all this time, it feels like I'm still a beginner and sort of like wondering what will happen next. There's that sense of wonder hasn't really left, because there's always new things to explore. There's new levels you can take to the show, new producers who sort of share the same sort of vision as you in terms of, the production values and things like that. So, I don't think about it in terms of us relative to other tributes at all. I'm quite pleased, actually, that there are lots of other Queen tributes. It's a good thing. I think it's nice to see, because each tribute's got their own sort of take on Queen and their own style, whether they have costumes or not. And of course, Queen have got their own tribute called Queen Extravaganza, their official tribute, and they're brilliant. They don't need a dressing up box because they're the official band, but they just put on a fantastic show with great visuals. And for me, I think there's room for us all. There's such a lot of love for Queen, and there's so many people that want to go out and celebrate their music. That's great, because obviously when I started, there wasn't that. Queen weren't touring. Queen, from what we could gather, Queen would never tour again when we started, because there wasn't the desire to. It was everyone, including Queen, was in shock, that this had happened with Freddie. But now it's like the opposite. Queen are touring with Adam, and we're touring, and there's lots. You can see ballets set to the music of Queen. You can see dance music, and all sorts of different orchestral versions of Queen. And I think it's great. It's such wonderful music. I'm glad the whole world is sort of celebrating. I think it's worth celebrating. It's worth having fun with and creative sort of adventures with.
Well, I think the key, Patrick, is excuse me, is the generations that have never seen Queen.
Yeah.
And, you're growing, expanding a bigger audience every time you're on stage. And like you said, there's a ton of tribute bands and a ton of bands that folks that have never seen the real band. So yeah, this is all good. My question, Patrick, is what's the secret to the longevity of the 30 years? Is it the same band members when you first started?
No, we were all students when we first started, and we thought it was a project. We thought, can we do this? It was a challenge. We thought we'd wanted to see Queen. We hadn't seen Queen, so can we challenge ourselves to do this? Because we knew it was a lot to, all those harmonies and the arrangements and everything, and and we'd have to sort of do it all ourselves. But then it took off so quickly, and we were offered shows in the West End, which is like Broadway in London. And the first ever tribute to do the West End. It took off so fast that everyone sort of quite quickly, it was just down to a couple of us left, and we had to get some sort of like find ways of getting new musicians in. So the musicians have changed a little bit over the years. I'm the only original member left. The last one's still standing. But the lineup that we've got at the moment, we've had for a good few years. It's been great, and they're such talented musicians, the ones we're working with at the moment. An excellent guitarist called Simon Small, who's just brilliant, just does Brian May's guitar style so perfectly. We've got John Howells on drums and Brad Waissman on bass, and they're really, really great and great fun, nice chaps too. I think it's important to talk with people who are good fun.
Have you ever heard from Brian or Roger or John? No. Any feedback to say, wow? No.
Well, it would be lovely, but no. The answer is no. As I say, they've got their own tribute called Extravaganza, and that's their baby. That's the thing that they've put together themselves, and they naturally don't. They're not going to reach out to other Queen tributes when they've got their own one to look after.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's just the way it is, and that's kind of fine, I guess. I'd like to meet them one day. I'd just say hello. I don't even know if I'd say, oh, hello, it's me, I do a tribute or anything. I do think I'd just like to say hello as me and just sort of shake him by the hand. I guess I'll be in a queue of about 1 million other people who want to do that too. Well, I sometimes think I'll turn up at some signing or something of a book and just say hello one day. But yeah, it's for us. We sort of get our sustenance from the audience reaction, and their sort of acceptance of us, and the demand that they have, in terms of wanting us to come back again and again and again. So that's nice. That's a sustaining thing to kind of keep you going.
Well, we can't wait for you to come to Poughkeepsie at the convention center next Tuesday night on the 28th. And I encourage everybody to get their tickets today, 845-454-5800, or at Ticketmaster. I mean, dreams do come true, Patrick. I never thought I would have the opportunity to hang out with Paul Rodgers or ZZ Top or any of those folks. So, you keep reaching for the stars. I'll tell you that. Don't ever think it won't happen, as you have proven for 30 years, man.
Yeah, I'll just keep going. What if? I wonder if, and see what happens.
There you go. Tori, what can you add to this chat?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty young. I got a lot of dreams ahead of me. So honestly, excellent. I'm just kind of I'm just very optimistic. After during this, not after this, but during this, I have a lot of different things that I've wanted to do and a lot of different dreams.
Tell me about, what are they?
When I was younger, I wanted to be a teacher, really, really badly.
Excellent.
And now I'm getting into radio. And I never thought that it was for me. And it is the most fun I've had, I think, ever.
It's fun, I think, is a very necessary ingredient in whatever you want to do in life. I think fun it can never be underestimated. I think make sure you have fun in whatever you do.
I'm definitely I'm very hopeful. You had this idea 30 years ago and look where it is now.
I know, it's bizarre, isn't it?
I think not only me, but I think a lot of people, it's a hope, to not give up on your dreams, and to, even if, maybe this one thing doesn't work out, don't give up, keep at it.
Oh, or yeah, I think
just try again.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think if you want to do something, if you're fascinated by something, and you it's a slight puzzle for you, and it's and it feels ambitious, because I mean, we didn't know how to do those harmonies, all those arrangements and key changes. There was a lot to learn, but I think if you keep challenging yourself, and so you feel like you're slightly in the deep end, and you're having fun in there, then fun things will happen, I think. So yeah, great.
Patrick, what's your favorite Queen song to perform?
Well, it's an obvious song, really. I mean, there's a couple of them. There's a song called, I'm gonna give you three. There's a song called "Days of Our Lives," which is a very beautiful song that Roger wrote towards the end of Freddie's life, and that's sort of like a conversation with the audience, and we sort of say how much we love Fred at the end of the song, how much we love Freddie and miss him. So that's a nice moment for me, and that always feels special. And there's a song that you mentioned earlier called Show Must Go On, which is a real Mount Everest of a song, but it's very, 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 very powerful. So I love singing that song. But in terms of the sort of songs we do every night, it's going to be the obvious one. It's going to be Bohemian Rhapsody. I love singing it because it holds such a special, magical spell over the audience. It's such a unique song in terms of everything. It's so creative musically. It's so wonderful lyrically. All the different movements that it's got in it is so perfectly meshed together and so heart-achingly beautiful. I just love that song. So I've got a signed picture of the Bohemian Rhapsody WAV form, which is one of my prized possessions at home, and it's been signed by Roger and Brian.
Oh wow!
Yeah. I've got it. I'm going to rebuild my studio, and that's going to have pride of place on the wall. So that song means a lot to me. Always has done. And it's nice to share that with an audience because it means a lot to them too. And then things like We Will Rock You is just immense monsters of songs. It's such.
No, you mentioned, it's just crazy. You can go to a show for 2 hours, 2.5 hours with strangers of, a couple 100,000 of people, whether it's a small theater or a big stadium, and you're all in unison having a blast. You forget all your headaches. And if only in this crazy world that we live in that we can translate that when the show is over, and be more kind and show more love. There's something about music, right?
Oh, I absolutely 100% agree with you. I absolutely am right behind you with that. I think Queen music absolutely unites people. And it makes everyone realize we've got a common cause. We don't need to separate ourselves off with one belief and another belief. We should, we've got a whole world we need to live in and we need to look after. And I think music is a definite pathway to making us wake up to that a little more and realize that, it's such a uniting feeling and it's such a positive, like you were saying, how positive you're feeling. I think positivity in music is such a great thing, it's such a wonderful energy, and if those four guys from Queen can go together in a studio and produce that magic, say if you've got 100 people or 1,000 people or 10,000 people all in a room together, all feeling positive together, I'm sure that has a great effect on people,
No really doubt about it.
It absolutely. It's our, our version of magic, really. You can feel transformed and elevated by those sort of experiences, and that's the other thing I love about this job, which I never really thought about as when I was putting the show together. I just thought it was a challenge for us, but what hit me from the very first show was the massive feeling of warmth and positivity from the audience. That huge surge of feeling, and it had me hooked for life. Actually, that first show, I'd never experienced anything like it. So yeah, no, I agree. Music is fantastic, and it's such a positive force for good, I think.
Boy, and I know we need to wrap up. We're keeping you getting ready from jumping on the stage tonight. You had like all these other artists, man, had to really struggle during this whole COVID thing of missing that energy. I mean, your first show that you're able to do after this whole COVID thing had to be amazing just to feel that energy again.
It did feel very special coming back, and I think being away from it made me realize, because you sort of you just keep doing it. I've just been doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it, and suddenly I couldn't do it anymore, and it made me realize, quite severely how much I need to do it. How much it's a good thing for me. It keeps me in order.
I couldn't wait to go back to my first live show. I never thought I would ever do a meet and greet again or go to a show. And over here in Poughkeepsie, we have Daryl's house, Daryl Hall's live venue, and I know everybody there, and I'm hugging him and high-fiving him, going, it was just crazy to be back, and it was so good to be back. Tori, what do you got to say so we can wrap up and let Patrick go to work?
Well, I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing the show on the 28th. I never got to go to a Queen concert, so this is going to be pretty epic, and I'm very excited.
Oh, excellent. Well, I'm excited too. Fantastic. It's been really lovely talking to you. Thank you so much for our little chat. That's been great.
Absolutely. Patrick, anything else that we can help promote for you? I know I watched your video, We'll Fight Again, which was a beautiful song.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I wrote that a long time ago, and I suddenly realized that the lyrics were kind of sort of very, in keeping with the times, with a world that felt like it had gone a bit crazy. Yeah, no, I do a lot of writing, and Freddie's been, all of them actually, they've been a massive influence on my writing. And I really enjoy that. So one of the other positive things about lockdown for me was it gave me time to just sort of remember that I could, write some songs and maybe, do that again. So I've done that again, and I've got some lyric videos coming out. And it's just a great thing to have alongside Killer Queen, a nice little creative sort of avenue for me.
Well, any way that we can help promote any of your music or any of your videos, by all means, our door is always open. We look forward to Tuesday night on the 28th. I know you guys are gonna blow the roof off the convention center, and it's gonna be a fantastic evening. And the Hudson Valley is gonna be waiting for you to rock the valley, as they say.
Yeah, it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
And anybody can go to your website at killerqueenonline.com to check out all the other dates. You're going to be in New York City. You're going to be in Syracuse. Going to be all over the area. And we look forward. And hopefully we can get to see you either after the show or before the show, just to say hello and get a quick picture.
Oh, of course. Let's do that. Definitely.
Excellent. Tori, anything?
It's been lovely talking to you, Tori. Thank you.
I'm a little embarrassed to say I'm a little starstruck. I haven't done anything like this before. I'm a little nervous, but I'm just very excited.
It's been a pleasure talking to you both. Really lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. It's really been amazing. It's been amazing listening to all like the stories and hearing how you felt in love with Queen. It's my mom always taught me that music is the center of everything, and it's I can hear that, and you're like I can like feel your love for not only what you do but like for music like as a whole.
Very much so.
Through, like how you talk about it, and it's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's I think being a musician and be able to sing songs to people, it's a simple enough proposition in some ways, but it's a privilege. It really is a massive privilege to do, as well as fun. Let's not forget the word fun. We can save the universe and have fun at the same time.
Absolutely.
Well, it doesn't get any better than this. Patrick Myers, Killer Queen, a tribute to Queen, coming to the convention center next Tuesday night. Well, Tori, let's wrap it up. Hit Radio, the Fox, Pat and Tori with you. As we're talking before about dreams, let's rock a little Queen and Don't Stop Me Now. Right here on Hit Radio, the Fox.